Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lord PeteyTV back here on YouTube. Now, so first of all, I just want to say last week was amazing for us for our Mythic Plus runs. So thank you all for joining us, and also thank you so much, Blizzard, for giving us an easy combination to deal with this week. Now, also, I wanted to say before we go into all of our affixes and all of our information, please make sure you hit that subscribe button here on YouTube, and please make sure you go to twitch.tv, LordPeteyTV, and make sure that you make sure you hit that follow button there to see when we actually go live throughout the whole week. So, once again, this week coming up, we're gonna have, let's take a look here: tyrannical, raging, storming, thundering. Okay, okay, okay. Take a deep breath, breathe it out. Let's go over everything and make sure everyone knows kind of what's going on with it all. So as always, we're going to go through everything. Tyrannical, meaning bosses have more health and they deal more damage. From there, we have our raging, which means non-boss enemies get more health and deal more damage over time. And then we're going to have our storming, which is tornadoes spinning around the mobs where the tank is dealing with them. And then after that, we have our thundering. So, all right, let's take a moment and think about this, okay? Thundering, raging, storming. Thundering. I meant tyrannical, raging, storming, thundering. So, for tanks, this week's going to be particularly hard for having to deal with the raging from the mobs, unless you have a soothe. So your tranks are going to be very, very particular. You know, your shivs, your trank shots, your soothes, and so on and so forth. So we're going to have that for your raging, so you're going to have to keep an eye on those. So your tank is going to have a very kind of a harder week because you're going to have to deal with consistent bosses hitting you hard, then your mobs hitting you hard. So you're going to be using cooldowns left and right to deteriorate the damage that you are getting. And then obviously your storming, you might get hit by a couple, not too bad. Thundering, in the end, is going to be, just the same thing it always is, annoying. Melee DPS, you're going to have a little bit of an issue dealing with your storming. So please keep an eye on that, making sure you're not taking too much damage and you're going through everything kind of smoothly. And then the next thing that you're going to have is you're going to have your range DPS. Make sure you're continuously trying to burn down mobs as fast as you can. So, range DPS is probably the hardest thing you're going to have to deal with this week is going to be your thundering and your storming. Because if you get a little too close, you might have to deal with that. But all in all, not too bad. And your final thing you're going to have to deal with is going to be your healers. Your healers are going to have a really, really hard time this upcoming week. I don't think it's going to be as bad as, I would say not previous week, but the week prior, because you're going to have a bunch of different things you're going to have to deal with there. So I don't think that's going to be too bad, but it's still going to be difficult. Those bosses are going to be hitting hard, which means you're going to have lots of problems there. All right, quick rundown of your dungeons. As we always do. Now, remember, this is still Mythic Season 1. All right, Agathar Academy with those affixes. So, with those affixes, Agathar Academy, well, obviously, Tyrannical is just going to be annoying for all the bosses blanketed across every single dungeon, so we're not going to talk about that. As for Raging, your Raging is going to be difficult for your Scepters, your battle axes and things like that. All the mobs around the tree boss, I can't think of his name right now. All those mobs around there, you got to be careful about that. And all the mobs going between the tree boss and that last boss in the dungeon, that area right there, you got to be really, really careful of them. So that's that. So you got to be careful of that. Quarter stars. You got to make sure that those eyeball dudes aren't going to be that bad when they go into raging. So as long as you keep your trank shots and going on there, I think you're going to be pretty well. I think that the imps, make sure you're burning them down before they get into their raging states. I think that's going to be a problem. So I don't think it's that bad. Halls of Valor, definitely you're going to have some issues with some of the mobs raging. But nothing too out of the ordinary that you can think of. You have those large groups that you're going to pull, but all in all, you should be able to survive through those. That as always, that one boss is going to be very, very annoying and difficult. The second boss, the one that you branch to the left to, Fenrin, is also going to be annoying. So that dungeon is going to be very, very hard. Ruby life pools. I think that the mobs are actually going to be better this week than last, obviously, because we're not dealing with fortified, we're dealing with tyrannical. But the fact that we can trank them when they get too low, which is good. The bosses are probably going to be like the first boss is going to be really, really quick and easy to burn through. It's going to be annoying, but not too bad. The second boss, since the nerf happened, I fought him last week. I don't think it was that bad. But once again, that wasn't on a tyrannical week, so I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to be this week. And obviously the channelers in that, you're gonna have to make sure you keep an eye on the trank shots there and dealing with that. So not too bad. All right, Shadow Moon Burial Grounds. Obviously, it's just the annoyances of the bosses. The spiders, if they end up putting the dots out on people, gotta keep an eye on that. So that's not too out of the norm there. Temple of the Jade Serpents, make sure you're getting your interrupts. All those pandas and everything in between the first boss and the second boss going to be very difficult. All the mobs between the start and the first boss, you got to keep an eye on those guys. Make sure you're tranking them and you're interrupting them and so on and so forth. So keep an eye on that, and then make sure you're trank shotting everybody, that last group of mobs right before the last boss, and make sure you do that. Azure Vault. So Azure Vault, you're gonna have your mobs doing the big pulls. I would recommend doing the big pull groups to kind of save on time, because the bosses are going to take a very long time there. The bosses there, I feel like, have very large health pools to burn through, so you're going to want to make sure you focus and take those guys down accordingly. Trying to think if there's anything out of the ordinary there. Not that I can think of. No, I think that's probably going to. This week might be one of the better weeks for Azure Vault, other than last. And then the Not Cut Offensive. You're gonna have lots of big pulls there, but just keep an eye on multiple different mobs there. The Primal Tempest, I think his name is. He was not too bad this past week. But once again, that was on a fortified week, not tyrannical. So I would like to see how that happens since the nerf has happened. So we're gonna go from there. So yeah, so I don't think this upcoming week is going to be that bad as we've dealt with in the past. But I think it's going to be pretty good. I think that everyone's going to have a good week. So I'm very intrigued to see. Now, as always, if you are, when you open up your vault, please make sure you drop into our Discord. Tell us what you got on your vault. I would love to see what people got and see how they're doing. If it is just another gem slot or whatever it may be. So I'm very intrigued for that. Okay. Love you all. Dream big. Keep gaming. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Make sure you're subscribing here. Make sure you're following on the Twitch channel. Subscribe on the Twitch channel if you want to support the channel even more. I greatly appreciate and love you all. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic week. Good luck on all of your dungeons and your Mythic Pluses. And I will see you next week for another update. All right. Love you all. Bye, everybody.